The Z Fold 7 has the highest chance to make me switch for good. To make absolute sure about this switch, I put it through every scenario. I took it to professional film sets. I used it as a tablet at cafes. I tested the battery on business trips. Used it as an entertainment device. I used it as my main camera for my girls. I tried all the AI features without the S Pen, multitasking with 17 windows, DeX mode with AR glasses on the go. I showed it off to hardcore Apple fans.
You know. What? You're joking. Okay, can I close it? You can try.
And if you close it, it turns into like a normal phone.
What brand? What is it?
It's a Samsung.
See folded, that's what it looks like. Oh yeah, I went one of
Look
those.
at-
I'm gonna put my order in now.
Would you consider a folding Samsung?
It looks like such an ajushi phone, right?
But you know what? It actually is.
My dad wants this.
Dude. Now this is the first 6.5-inch slab phone and a 8-inch tablet, 2-in-1 that doesn't really feel like a 2-in-1. Does that make sense? The folds before this guy, even the Fold 6, reminded you that it is a 2-in-1 by being super thick, by being slightly heavier, not having good cameras. Now that's all due to this absolutely mind-boggling, dude, bro, this looks ridiculous on the camera. So when I showed it to a few people that use iPhones, they don't look at any other phone, by the way. They don't go, ooh, new Android phone, let me check that out. They don't do that. They wait until their battery starts dying early and they're like, I need to upgrade my iPhone. And they'll go and they'll buy the newest iPhone, even if it's 1 week before the next iPhone releases. And every one of these iPhone loving people that I've showed were amazed.
That is insane, guys. That
How
is
does it-
insane form factor. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But check this out, right? Oh. See you, Sam. This guy's gone.
My iPhone that I've been dailying was a iPhone 13 mini. This iPhone is not a flagship. And just in case I'm dismissing the iPhone and saying the Fold 7 is better because I'm using a 4-year-old phone that's not the flagship. So I thought, you know what, maybe I should upgrade this guy to the best iPhone 16 Pro and use that for a week after I use this for a week. So next week, I'm going to actually be switching with my wife with this thing. So she's gonna use this for a week and I'm gonna use her phone for a week. So I've actually booked in a flight tomorrow to catch up with Steve Jobs himself. He said that he has something to give to me, and let's just see how the battery goes. I'll see you in the morning, bruv. Hello, Dad. My dad took me to the airport. I loaded up my boarding pass to Google Wallet on the Fold, did some social media, scanned the boarding pass, and I watched something for 20 minutes and totally passed out. So I've safely just landed in the Gold Coast. I was meant to do like DeX mode, I was meant to write scripts and get productive. I brought my folding keyboard and everything inside the plane and I just conked out. I just freaking slept. Looking for things on Google Maps on the 8-inch display is incredible. I found a cafe, then called an Uber with the Fold. I did some light work on the way to the cafe, then did some script writing and stuff like that at the cafe. I converted another Uber driver.
Oh man.
First time going to Steve Jobs' place. Filming. DSLRs, what's up, bro? So I came for this. I flew 7,000 kilometers to grab me one of these. Right, that is, yeah, this feels like a first generation product for sure. I delivered Steve the final missing piece.
My set is now complete. I have every fold from 1 to 7.
Steve Jobs is like Thanos. Instead of stones, this guy's collecting all the Z folds. Is your wife cool with this?
She doesn't know. And OG. Now that is a collection.
It was incredible looking at 7 years of incremental improvements to get to the final form factor we have today. Now being the world's thinnest foldable. Then we had a genuine chat about our thoughts, about the state of Samsung's foldables. I took random shots of random crap after a solid lunch with Steve. What is a white Leap Motor C10? I've never heard of that car before in my life. I was wondering what a Leap Motor was. I'm like, is this guy coming in a scooter? After converting another Uber driver from iPhone to the Z Fold 7, this guy actually said he's gonna buy one. I got back to the airport. I was sitting on about 49% with almost 3 hours of screen on time on cellular. Did some more admin work on the plane and landed at 9 p.m. When you're on cellular only, you're going to get about, I reckon, 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours on cellular and about 8 hours on Wi-Fi. This is the realest screen time battery test you could get. This includes Uber, Google Maps, hotspot, Dex mode, taking photos. I did a lot, social media, Amazon Prime. When Steve Jobs showed me this case, I asked if I could keep it because I actually needed it on the way to Gold Coast, and I immediately put it to use at his house. Not only does it let you use it fully unfolded for productivity or entertainment, but it also has MagSafe. My wife is actually using my Fold 7. Let's go ask her what she thinks. My love, how is this Torres case?
I can't use this one without this case. And I didn't even know this was sponsored one.
No, it's because it wasn't sponsored. I've been begging them to sponsor me and they literally just sponsored me.
And when I try to watch YouTube, I need this ring. I also make this phone opened, like always, on my desk when I'm making Instagram reel edits or, you know, just studying using the Fold. Because I have Taurus iPhone case as well, and I really like it.
This soft touch material also has a mechanical flap to protect the hinge. If you want to get the most out of your Fold, check them out. I'll leave a link in the description. Okay, you know what? I want to dive a bit more into this whole battery situation here. Now, I did a full day starting at 4:30 a.m. and I ended the day at about 10 p.m. and I had about 10% battery left. And I think I did a total of about 5 hours and something screen on time. That's kind of cool, but it just didn't feel good to only have 10% left in the tank by the end of it. If this thing had a silicon carbon battery, say a 6,000 milliamp hour, I would have been fine. I would have had another 30% left or something like that. And that's crazy after a 5 hour screen on time usage. Now, I started doing some research into, there's gotta be a reason why Samsung's not doing this, okay? It can't be just because they almost destroyed the earth a couple years ago with the Note 7. That can't be the main reason. Now, apparently a guy called, what's his head? Min-Sok Kang, he actually confirmed that the company is actively testing and trying out the silicon carbon battery technology for their future phones. As you can see, they like making thin phones, and their trifold is gonna need that new technology, the next Edge. In fact, all of their S26 series is going to probably get the silicon carbon battery. And upon testing, they've realized that the lifespan of silicon carbon batteries is about half of the current technology. So it's kind of like, do you want awesome battery up front, but it degrades like crazy after 2 years? Or do you want not as good battery, but it lasts much longer? It's like, me personally, I would love to have a freaking fat 6,000 milliamp hour battery, even if it's gonna die in 2 years, because I'll just replace it in 2 years. I'd rather have longer battery for 2 years straight than have kind of mediocre battery for 4 years straight. Does that make sense? I get that, you know, they're kind of concerned. I hope Samsung engineers figure out a way. What they're doing right now by testing with these battery technology is trying to increase the lifespan of the silicon carbon technology. That's what they're trying to do. Look at the difference. That is a huge ass difference, and the battery is only 100 milliamp hour different. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Samsung was to make the Fold 8 this thick, bro, they could put like an 8,000 milliamp hour battery in there. Now, over the years, ever since the Fold 1, even though the hardware changes seemed very iterative, did pretty well with the software. What sets One UI apart for me from all the other Androids is good lock. Could the multitasking be better? I don't know. You pull up with 2 fingers, you can search for the app you want to split screen with, or you just pull an app from the Edge panel or the dock, windowing apps, and it's so easy. You just pull from the top right, boom, it turns into a window. You got the minimize button, maximize button, and a close button. And the fact that you can do that whilst you're not even in DeX mode is nice. Now, this, whilst open, this 8-inch inner display absolutely removes the need to have a small tablet. Like, you've got no excuse now, honestly, except for the price. Let's talk about a few of the problems I have with this phone. Okay, now the overall package of this thing is incredible, but there are some problems. They just can't give us something that's perfect, eh? Like, if they give us something good, they gotta take something away. It's like, I don't know what they're doing here. It has incredible table wobble, and it sounds like I'm doing Morse code. In terms of the camera bump, I love it. Keep it as thick as possible, because if I'm gonna get a better camera with a thicker camera bump, I'm all for it. All right, the second one is not having S Pen for this bigger screen. Now, what is the point in having an 8-inch tablet if you can't use a S Pen? And I know they probably went, why did we only sell 7 S Pens over 7 years? Maybe no one's using it, so they got rid of it. That's probably actually the rationale, trying to make it thinner. Like, how much thinner is that digitizer thing gonna be? I know that's not the case, because the Honor Magic V5 and even the Oppo, they all have a digitizer, by the way. In fact, they've got a digitizer on the front screen too. So don't give me that excuse, okay? But I'm keeping that S Pen in my bag just in case Samsung goes, I tricked you guys, here's a software update. Now, going back to this hole punch camera on the inside is kind of annoying. I just wish it was in the corner, like dead right corner or something like that. That way it won't be in any of the videos. Charging speed. Now, I'm fine with the 4400 milliamp hours. I'm just happy you guys didn't lower it to like 2800 milliamp hours or something like that to make it thin. This is totally fine. But what I'm not fine with is, if you're gonna give literally the smallest battery size on the planet for foldables, at least give us the fastest charging. I don't blame them for being safe, but you know, just turn it up. Just turn it up just by double. Now, there's only one more problem, and it's kind of the biggest problem, and it's the price of this thing. Like, why is the price going up every year ever since the Fold 5? Like, we started off at $2,999, so pretty much $3,000 Australian when the first one launched. Like, the first generation, that's crazy. A lot of R&D went into it. I'm sure the manufacturing, everything was difficult. I get it. Charge $3,000, great. And then on their third generation, they lowered the price by a lot. It went from $3,000 to down to $2,450 in Australia. You've already captured the early adopters. You need to grow out of that. And the only way to do that is to make it cheaper. If this thing was priced at, to say, Australian $2,000, take my money. The Z Fold 6 had a small, mediocre 1/1.56 camera, which was pretty crap. And we accepted that it will stay crap because it's a foldable. Now, once you make the device 25% thinner, you expect the cameras to take a hit. Nope, it got an upgrade to the HP2 200 megapixel sensor with a pretty large 1/1.3 inch sensor. This is the same size as the iPhone 16 Pro and S25 Ultra in this 4.2mm chassis. I think this camera upgrade, along with the autofocus for the ultra-wide camera, sealed it for me. This is the first time I actually enjoyed taking photos on a folding phone. I think the processing on the S25 Ultra and even the Fold 6 phones is super safe and kind of boring, but it's very consistent with getting the shot right. So in this video, I showed a few samples of the Fold 6 photos, but what I realized was there was barely any photos on there. I've taken more photos in 2 weeks on the Z Fold 7 than I did for 3 months with the Z Fold 6. Because I just didn't want to take photos with it. I am still not a fan of this dinky 3x zoom lens, which is a tiny sensor. They could literally get rid of this and save more space and even save us cost. 200 megapixel 1/1.3 inch sensor is much bigger, so it's better for low light, and it can zoom in 3 times. at way better clarity. I almost totally forgot about praising the log shooting on this bad boy. And so for my upcoming video, I totally forgot to bring my DJI to do a vlog. And it felt great to be able to see the full wide aspect ratio as I was filming in 4K 60 log. You see this lock button? You press that, you swipe it, and that's it. So what it does is now it locks the back screen. And you know what? I'm gonna film it. So I can just hold the camera like this and I can just film and I can see the full, dude, this is freaking nuts. And I can like vlog, I can see the full frame. You got like that depth because it's a much bigger sensor. I love it. All right, what's my final verdict about the Z Fold 7 and why am I so short in this frame? I've spent a solid 2 weeks with this bad boy. This is the only phone that has hope to actually convert someone that is deep within the ecosystem, namely my wife. Now, the fact that my only main gripe with this thing is the price, that's a good thing. That means that everything else, they've kind of sorted out. Even in my Fold 6 video, what I said was, because of the high asking price and the fact that the Fold 6 ain't much different to the Folds before it, I said, get a used Fold 5 or a Fold 4. That's what I said in that video. But this is the first time where I would say, you know what? If you're loaded and you know you can make a use case for this, I think the Fold 7 is the phone to get. This is the ultimate foldable that I think Samsung envisioned when they made that thick boy. Where's the thick boy? When Samsung came out with this bad boy, they wanted to make a phone that had no compromises but can fold out into a tablet. And this was the first thing. Now, I see why Apple didn't jump into the foldable game when Samsung made this, because Apple probably looked at this and went, but you gotta start somewhere. And they iterated and they iterated and they iterated, and here we are. Do I miss my iPhone? Absolutely not. But my iPhone was a iPhone 13 mini. For the last 2 days, I actually swapped the Z Fold 7 with wife's iPhone 16 Pro. And I'll be honest, it is much better than the 13 mini. So I'm gonna be using this for the next 7 days. And we're gonna actually make a video about how my wife went with the Fold and how I went with this thing, and just decide if this is going to win my heart, because I won't know until I use a flagship Apple phone. Actually, let's ask wife what her last 2 days was with this, like just like a teaser. Honey, can you be on camera real quick? By the way, I installed a anti-reflective screen protector on here. Let's actually see the difference. This one has the screen protector and this one doesn't. Can you see that difference? Look at that. Look at that. This is just insane. This actually feels like, dude, it's the same as the Ultra. This is just insane. There actually is a screen protector or something, some plastic thing that they've got on the inside. Why not use the same freaking anti-reflective material on the inside? Ya noobs. Honey, you ready?
I am ready.
All right, get in. How excited were you to use your first proper folding phone?
Yay.
No excitement?
No.
Zero excitement?
Zero.
Okay. How was your last 2 days anyway?
Oh, actually it was pretty good. Actually, it was better than what I expected.
What was good about it?
I think the best part was for me is the multitasking, that thing.
I can't wait till I get her on Dex mode. It's gonna blow her freaking mind.